tuning back in to the channel. Today what we're going to be doing is changing the power steering pump on my truck. It's starting to go out. Like when I turn, you can hear like a straining noise, like a humming noise. When I'm driving, when I initially drive and start the truck up, it's fine, like it turns fine, but after 15 minutes of driving, it does get a little hard to turn. But that's no problem, it's just maintenance work, maintenance stuff, especially running these they're not wide, but they're wide for factory like suspension, especially on the two-wheel drive. Got the 12 wides with 33s and stuff, so it was bound to happen. I don't know how many miles is on this current power steering pump, but I did just change the rack and pinion, brand new rack and pinion, so that's good. So now I'm going to change the power steering pump. I would show y'all what noise it's making, but I don't want to get the truck hot and then I don't want to work on a hot truck right now. So that's what I'm going to do, and we're going to get to it. Alright, so this is the power steering pump I went with, Power Control Systems. This pump, it comes with everything. It comes with the reservoir, comes with the pulley already pressed on, and it's brand new. You're going to want to make sure that your old pump, the bracketry lines up with your old pump. There are different versions, so just make sure you double check that before you order your pump. The reason why I went with this one is because the reservoir and the pulley was already pressed on and all that. I didn't want to have to rent a puller or buy a puller to pull this pulley and then have to put it on the new pump. I didn't want any alignment issues or anything as far as that. And then just the fact that it comes with a new reservoir, that's always good. So, and it also comes with a hose clamp. It comes with a hose clamp and a little O-ring that's gonna go in one of the fittings, so make sure you have that. So we're under the truck. Once you get your belt off the power steering pulley right there, you're going to want to remove this bottom hose off the reservoir, and this is held on by like a hose clamp. Remove that, put something underneath, so when the power steering fluid comes out, you could just drain it into a bucket. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna unloosen all the fittings on the pump, move them out the way, unbolt. There's 3 bolts on the front side, but I don't know if y'all can see it. So there's 1, 2, 3 that holds this pump on, but you have to access the bolts through the front side, through the pulley hose, and I'll show you a better once I get it off. All right, so first tip, when you pull that clamp off the hose, off the bottom of the reservoir, make sure your cap is on, and then you take this this little cap off the new pump. Have that in either hand. When you're ready to pull off this hose, take that cap and hurry up and put it back on, so that way all that fluid doesn't get everywhere on your suspension. You can see got a little bit right when I pulled the hose off, but literally half a second to a second later, I hurry up and put that cap on, and it's holding the fluid in the reservoir. So now I don't have to worry about spilling it everywhere. Just make sure you don't knock that off, because if you knock it off, the fluid is going to go everywhere. So and you already know, either if you do change your oil or if you don't, that fluid, it doesn't go just straight down. If it's a windy day, it's going to blow it everywhere. So I wanted to try and prevent that, and that's what I did by putting that cap on there. Just a helpful tip. All right, so we have an 18 millimeter on this bottom fitting, and you're gonna go counterclockwise. So to the left, lefty loosey, righty tighty, if you're looking at it from this perspective. All right, so as you can see, we got the power steering pump out. There's 3 bolts, 1, 2, then the top 3. Make sure you line up your pulley with the hose. Go straight through there. The socket you will need is a deep 13 millimeter socket. And yes, I did get it off without knocking off that little cap. So all the fluid is still in here, and it held. So I was able to, once I loosened all 3 of those bolts, I moved that hose off to the side, kind of just move this out the way a little bit, and I was able to come through the bottom with it. And that's the same way I'm gonna go back in with it. Now this is a 2-wheel drive, so you guys with 4-wheel drives, I'm not sure how that's gonna come out, if it's gonna be able to come out from the bottom. I don't think so, because of the you know, all the like 4x4 parts like drag link and pivot arm and all that. That might be in the way, it might not. I'm not sure, but that's how I was able to get mine out. And all right, so we have the new one on the left and the old one on the right. You know, you just want to make sure it's the same as far as the bracket. Make sure you have the same one. And it's pretty much simple. Like, you know, have a fitting down here. You got to unhook. Well, on the old one, when you're taking it off, you have a fitting down here. That is a 18 millimeter. Then you got 3 13 millimeters. Then just removing that hose off the bottom, and then it should come out. We're gonna be putting the new one back in. All right, so you may be asking where that O-ring goes. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that goes on the tip of that flared fitting. I don't know if it's focusing. So that just goes right there. Just make sure you put the new one that was supplied with your kit. Alright, so quick helpful tip. When you're putting your new pump in and you can't get it in between those brackets, just take a screwdriver and pry, or not pry, but like, you know, kind of push. You can maybe push it with your hand, push this bracket out to get the pump in between it. I was having a little trouble with that. So while you're doing that, make sure you're wearing like safety glasses, because any, like, you know, dirt and stuff will fall in your eyes. I had that fall in my eyes, so just be mindful of that too. Next, I got all the bolts tightened down. Before you tighten one bolt all the way down, make sure you start all 3 bolts before you tighten one down, because if you just tighten one down, you don't know if you got the other hose lined up for the mounting bracket. So next we're gonna take off this little plug. When I took this off, I seen it had some like oil in there, so I don't know if they pre-filled it, but that'd be great if they did. I'm gonna take this off, screw this back in, just fitting back in, connect my hose up there, and check the reservoir for fluid and fill it up if it is empty, and then we're gonna prime it. All right, so let's see it. It will focus. All right, bleeding and testing. All right, so we have bleeding and testing. I'm gonna be doing it the manual way, which is just raising up the front of the vehicle get both wheels off the ground, and then turn the wheel from left to right, lock to lock, up to about 20 times, it says right there. And that's gonna bleed it with the cap on, you know, the reservoir full of power steering fluid. All right, so I lost the footage where a lot of the air was coming out of the system. This is after, and you can see the fluid is just moving up and down, and there's not really bubbles and air coming out of the reservoir. All right, so sorry it's late, but we got the power steering pump bled, like the whole system bled. Then I was thinking, and I was like, okay, the instruction says leave on the cap on the power steering, and you know, jack up the vehicle, the front, and then turn the wheel side to side. But I was thinking, if you leave the cap on, how is it going to let the air out the reservoir, out the system? So yeah, that, I don't know what I was thinking about. But anyways, so yeah, so once I jacked up the truck with the truck off, had the cap off, turn the wheel from left to right. On here it says 20 times. Now, I wouldn't put a number on it. I would keep going, turn the wheel left to right until, you know, either you're recording or you have a second person to tell you, like, you don't see bubbles coming out, like bubbling out, letting air out the system. So yeah, so you'll know when most of the bubbles are out, because the fluid in the reservoir, it will like push up, but you don't hear or see any bubbles. So yeah, so I mean, it was pretty straightforward, pretty easy job, you know, just 3 bolts. Let me see. That was the easy method. As far as bleeding the system, you can get a vacuum pump and do all that, but this, you don't need no vacuum pump. You can just raise up the front and turn the wheel side to side and bleed the system. So then after you know, turn the wheel side to side, bleed the system, you're going to put the cap back on, start the vehicle, then turn the wheel left to right slow for about, you know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Then you're going to turn the vehicle off, open the reservoir, check the fluid, see if it's good. I noticed a difference right away. Like when I started turning the wheel, oh man, I could turn it with my pinky finger only. Like it was so easy to turn the wheel, and I didn't hear no noises. Everything lined up, the belt lined up, like no squeaks, no nothing, no, like, well, I wouldn't say no leaks yet, because when you bleed the system, air bubbles is gonna come out and it's gonna pop, like raise the fluid level, and like some will spill out over the reservoir. So just keep that in mind. Get you a bucket underneath there to catch that. But other than that, yeah, it's good. I'm about to go take it for a test drive and make sure everything is good and everything is good. So yeah, so I appreciate it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna add another video onto the back of this. This might be like a 2-minute video. Nah, I'm just playing. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All right, so what's up, y'all? It's a new day. Today we're going to be trying to fix my train horn bracket for the horns that hold the horns. I kind of makeshift this like extension bracket to add 2 extra horns to the 4 horns that I already had. So I'm gonna try and weld that bracket. Now, mind you, the only time the last time I welded something was like 9th grade in FFA, and that was with a rod welder. At the house we got this little small like Harbor Freight welder, so this is gonna be pretty funny. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm gonna try and fix that bracket, and then I also going to be doing some other stuff, and I will show you that when I get there. All right, so we are now under the truck. So I had a slight problem. This clamp, I know this isn't the right clamp, but this pipe slid out of this pipe, so that's just soot. So What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out this spacer and put a like a shorter bolt in there so it could tighten down tighter just to hold it for now. I'm gonna order another 5-inch one of these so I could tighten it down and clamp it real tight. I didn't want to get it welded because I wanted to be able to take my exhaust off in pieces. If I don't know if that's one up there, but yeah, I just wanted it to be easier to take apart. I got that welded, but everything else is pretty much like with clamps and hangers and stuff. So that's what I'm going to be messing with right now, and then we'll mess with the train horns. Just like that. Got 2 nuts on it. Took out that spacer so it could squeeze tighter. And remember, this is just temporary, so that way until it comes in, then I'll take this off and put the correct one, which is this one. And this was brand new, so I think it came bare metal. I thought it was stainless steel too, but I don't know. It's rusting and stuff, so yeah, the new one I'll just spray paint it black. All right, on to the train horns. All right, so what's up, y'all? As y'all can see, my clutch came in. We have the hydraulics, and then we have the ARP flywheel bolts. This task, I'm not gonna tackle this one. I'm gonna send it to a shop tomorrow so they can just get it right. I never done the clutch. My dad and we never really mess with transmissions like that to know. So yeah, we're gonna get that done at the shop tomorrow. And then we have a special guest, my cousin, Brittany Griner, if y'all don't know, WNBA superstar. Oh, would you like to? Yeah.
No, I'm just here, you know, admiring the work of the handyman, the mechanic right here. You know, I'm just sitting back chilling.
Yeah, so that's what we got. I hope y'all found that power steering bracket useful. If not, maybe you'll use it in like a later time if yours ever go out. So yeah, we're gonna get to it. All right, so this is my train horn setup. We have the Conductor Special Horn Blasters kit. We got the dual 2-gallon tank, so 4 gallons, the heavy duty compressor. But so this is what we have. I tried to make a bracket, extension bracket. Well, I did make it, but this horn broke right there. And then, so for the back to hold this horn, I had put that bracket through there, and the threads and the nut was supposed to hold this on. I guess I hit a bump hard and it like stripped out the threads out of the horn, which made this to become loose, and then that to break off once it fell. And then on the other side, it's still holding up though. It's just a little loose. So you can see like what I tried to do on this side. This is a better example. And then right here, I just made like a extension bracket. Let me get this out the way. I just made an extension bracket off this, the main bracket for all 4. And I just put it on the side, but that's loose too. So that's what I'm gonna be welding. I'm gonna weld that small bracket to the actual mount right there. So that way it's not held on by the threads. So it'll be welded and it'll be firm. So that's what I got. Let me drain this tank. I don't know when the last time I drained this tank. I actually put this valve on there. Yeah, so that's my setup. That's what I'm gonna be fixing or attempting to fix. I don't even think I welded it. Well, I did weld it to the thing, but I don't think it's like, I don't know, we're gonna see. Oh, it didn't even weld to the thing.
You didn't?
Nah, that's funny. Well, I might have to take it to somebody to get it welded. Because that's not gonna work. Or I could send another bolt through it and have a bolt hold it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna drill a hole right there. Have a bolt hold it instead of having this weld. If I knew how to weld, it would have worked, but I don't know how to weld, so I'm gonna try a different method.
I don't know. I'll phone a friend.
I know, right? All right, so as y'all can see, that didn't work. That weld I tried, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna resort to plan B, aka drilling a hole in both brackets and just sending a bolt through them to hold it together. So that's what I got going on. You can see these little rat droppings. Yeah, so that's what we got. All right, so let me show y'all the big fail. So I tried to weld it. As you can see, it didn't go as planned. So what I have going on, I just have a bolt and a nut. That's what I should have did in the first place, but I just wanted to try it out. I'm not really tripping, I don't care. So yeah, so instead of the train horn threads and horn holding the bracket on, I have the bolt and nut holding the bracket on, so it's tight. It's not going anywhere anymore. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side because it's loose. And then I have a new horn, should be on the way, because this one broke. For now, I just have the zip tie holding it. So yeah, I kind of rigged it up, but it's gonna get fixed. I'm gonna get a shorter bolt. I do not need all those threads. It's just what I had on hand right now. So yeah, I'm gonna grind those welds down too, so don't worry about that. All right, so let me show you guys how to put on Teflon tape. So this is my fitting. I'm gonna put on some new Teflon tape. Okay, hopefully that focus. So if you're looking at your fitting, right, you're gonna put it on, let's see, this would be clockwise. So you're gonna wrap it, you're gonna start it, keep this close. You're going to hold it, go over, pull it tight. Make about a good 2 or 3 wraps. Now make sure, well, this is air horn, so it doesn't really matter the end, but like on the turbo that I did, make sure the Teflon tape or pipe thread or whatever you call this, make sure it doesn't protrude the edge for like turbos and stuff like that. But for this air horn, that's not too big of a deal. So I'm gonna just rip it off right there. So if y'all can see that, depending on which way you start and which way you end, it will keep the Teflon tape on or it will take it off as you thread it in. So if we're looking at it this way, when you thread it in, I'm turning it to the right. So can y'all see that? Okay, so that's the end of the tape. So when you turn this to the right, it's just gonna lay it smooth. But if you had it on the other way, if you turned it to tighten it, it would like unravel it. It would take it off, and you don't want that. So that's how you want to put it on. When you turn it to the right, it just pushes it over. It doesn't undo the Teflon tape. So I got my fitting and I got my train horn, and I'm gonna put it in there and just thread it in like that. So let's see if you can see when it comes around. So boom, so it's coming around. It's going, when it's screwing in, is going to just lay it flat, not undo it. Alright, so let me show y'all what I did last night since it is now morning. So that's what I did. I just extended that bracket and I put that bolt, as you can see on the left side of that that fitting. I just put a bolt to hold it. It's pretty sturdy. And I also fixed this side as well. So that's what I did. That's the setup. And we also have this thing here. Oh yeah, she's loud. She is loud, 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 loud.